And I think people need to get real with, there are going to be times when you don't feel like doing it.
Right.
And if you want to level up, you need to stop doing things based on how you feel.
Right.
And start doing things based on your commitment and your vision and your mission.
Hold up.
All right, what's up, Level Uppers? We are back for the Level Up Blueprint. Very excited for this episode. It was with one of my mentors and someone who's inspired me to even do podcasting myself, which is exciting. Grant Findlay-Shirras, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for inviting me here.
You bet. This is very exciting. So what I want to do is I'm going to keep the intro short because people love using Google nowadays, and there's so much of your stuff online. They're going to get lost in that. But very high level, for the few people who don't know who you are, tell us about how you got to being at Parkbench and what you guys do.
Cool. So what's everyone? My name is Grant Findlay-Shirras. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Parkbench.com, which is a real estate marketing company and a local platform for neighborhoods. The long story short was I was a local professional. I was constantly trying to find ways to grow my business, and I came up with this concept to help me make money and my wife, and it worked. And then our peers, other real estate agents, came to us and said, hey, I see what you're doing, and I see how you guys are growing and becoming the go-to people in your community. I work that neighborhood in Toronto. Can you please tell me who built this technology for you, and how did you do what you're doing? Because I want to do it in my neighborhood. And because there was demand for what we were doing, we turned it into a business. And so 7 years later, I am now no longer in my old business. I'm in the business of helping real estate agents build their brand, and mortgage professionals build their brand and build their business in their community.
That's amazing. Now, the blueprint of getting there is what I think most entrepreneurs and just viewers in general are interested in, because it seems like a lot of those things aren't always done on purpose. They happen accidentally. But there are things you can control usually, and those are your habits. So step one, look, I think habits. There's a lot of habits people talk about in many different ways, and I think people are fairly aware of like the general habits, but is there any kind of like habits you have or long-term challenges you set for yourself that maybe people don't hear about all the time, or you approach it a little bit differently?
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of like thinking around how to get my real estate agents, my clients, my staff to level up and reach new personal bests. We call them PBs, you know, to get a new gear for their life and for their business. And like, we're all humans, and there's many moments where we are just like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this. And there's a lot of people now talking about how you gotta do what you love and find your passion and go after it. And you definitely should be passionate with what you do.
Of course.
But you're not going to be like that all the time. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you do. Like, I didn't get from the business I have to now having 1,300 clients in 4 countries and blah, 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 only doing what I love to do. And I think people need to get real with, there are going to be times when you don't feel like doing it. And if you want to level up, you need to stop doing things based on how you feel. And start doing things based on your commitment and your vision and your mission.
Very similar to training. You come from a pretty big athletic background. Most of it is hell, right?
Yeah, it's not fun.
But it's for that one moment, right? In many cases.
Totally.
So it's how do you tie the day-to-day grind with that?
And so it's the self-talk. So the habit is the self-talk that gets over the self-talk that comes in naturally, which is, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this. And having the self-talk of, it doesn't fucking matter. Get to fucking work. You've got to do this. You need to do this. You must do this. You must do it right now. And you just motivate yourself to go to work.
So rolling into the new year, if I want to start doing some of that for myself, is it having a script? Is it having a vision board? Is it having a daily journal where I just read my self-talk? Like, how do you reinforce that? Like, how does someone get started with that? It sounds a little fluffy unless there's some tactics behind it. So how do you actually implement that? So
step one, when you go, the end goal is that you are able to constantly self-talk yourself into action. But you can't self-talk yourself into action if you don't even know what to say. And so you have to really find out what you want. And I actually am surprised, I sometimes forget this, is some people don't even know what they want. So you have to lay out your goals. It has to be thorough. Like that's a whole day exercise just to think about all the things that you want in life. Because then you can start looking at when I have this feeling of I don't want to do this and I don't feel like doing this, you now look back to your goals, you look back to your vision, you look back to your purpose and your mission, you go, does this align with that? If so, it doesn't matter what I'm feeling right now, I need to go do this. If it doesn't, if I don't feel like going to that party and partying has nothing to do with my goals, then I can then say no to that.
Exactly. Awesome. And then so maybe they have something they print out on the computer. Everyone's going to have a different way of how they reinforce information, but it's clear you've got to reinforce the information,
goal setting,
have it there.
Goal setting, whether you write it down or you do vision boards, goal cards. Like there's so many different ways. You got to find your flavor. Like I'm not here to force anyone. Like just pick the thing that right now feels good to you in terms of goal setting. Then you need to remind yourself every single day for that, whether that be meditation, whether that be writing, your goals down. I have these morning routine, evening routine notepads that prompt me to have certain thoughts go through my mind on a daily basis. And once you do that for 67 days scientifically, you start developing a habit.
There you go.
So 67 days, that old, it takes 21 days to build a habit. That's the wrong science.
It's longer than we thought.
It's a lot longer. That was someone else using some study to make some new fact that had nothing to do with that study. The real study was 67 days is what is required to create a new habit. So I'm always focused on trying to do 1 or 2 habits at a time for 67 days.
I love it. So I'll make sure to link to that in the show notes along with some of the tools we've been talking about around vision boards and goal setting and things that you can actually start using this coming new decade. Can't believe we're already there. Next question is very similar to sort of what we've been talking about now. It's what's the mindset or the knowledge you love to impart on either your online followers or even the people you see every day? And it seems like a lot of it is around this level up mindset around the self-talk. Anything you want to add on to that at all? Or
So I'll as a business owner, is you build your team out, you got to have your values, your culture,
of course,
which really should be you.
Yeah.
Like what is representing of you?
Lead by example.
So I've got 6, and it has to do with how I level up constantly.
Right.
So if you're trying to do more, the first thing is thoughts become things. So you have to make sure that you are deliberate with how you think about things.
Right.
Because they will manifest into a physical reality.
Totally.
It's got to be positive, it's got to be optimistic, it's got to be deliberate with what you want. Now, when you start thinking about having very deliberate thoughts, some people want to make it easy on themselves, and they don't want to think big, challenge themselves, and go after something that they almost don't even know how to do it. So that's why I have instill with my staff and my followers and my clients, like be more, like constantly be more, level up. Then when you challenge yourself, you're going to have the self-talk that's going to make you feel like you can't do it. So then you've got to constantly remind yourself about how you do believe in yourself and you can do it. Belief is something that needs to be nurtured.
Yeah.
And then you're going to put in systems and processes to go get something done.
Of course.
And there will be times when something happens that makes you think, oh, maybe I should change my process. And it's like, no. Trust the process.
Right.
You did some planning around a business plan or around a self-development plan. Trust the process. Persist, keep going. And then you may be interacting with people throughout that process, whether it be prospects or clients or staff. Treat everyone like family, because the people who support you through thick and thin are family. So you want as many people to support you as possible, so you better start treating as many people as possible like family. And the final one is, hey, we gotta go. Like urgency, energy, like it's gotta be there.
Totally.
So you gotta remind yourself to let's go.
Power
let's
poses,
go.
right?
All these different things.
All the movement.
So
in that,
that message is an arc to get someone from A to B.
Right.
Which is why I have these values in place. And that whole message I'm trying to communicate over and over and over again, using stories and helping people out. Because it's not just one thing, it's a series of things, but a series of certain things in a certain order.
And the reinforcement.
As long as you're reinforced over and over and over again.
I love that. And one thing about, I think, today's world is, how do you persist and to what points? Because at some point you need to pivot, and that's maybe a different discussion, right? But one question I have that I always ask myself is, how do you say no? how do you become an essentialist, right? So specifically, if you talked about family and team and you're trying to get certain objectives done, when someone starts asking you to do them a favor, whether it be on the team or even a customer's asking something, we have to sometimes, I think actually very often, say no. Do you have any strategies on, in general, how you best say no? How do you know when to say no? And then how do you say no in a way that hopefully doesn't burn a bridge?
Yep. So if anyone who works with me, they know I say no a lot. As the CEO, I don't get to say yes to lots of things because we have a focus. We have a limited amount of time. So my favorite way of doing it, which reinforces proper sales mentality as you build your business, not right now.
Right.
Not right now.
So it's not an absolute no, it's a not right now.
I'm never saying no. I'm always saying not right now.
Okay.
Because I don't even know.
Okay, I like that.
I don't even know what I'm saying. Something could totally change in my life that makes me all of a sudden want to say yes to that.
And are you in the mindset to really think through the request at the time? When you're as fast as you are meeting the meeting,
totally.
You may not even be in that zone.
Not right now. I'm sorry. Not right now. I like that you're even contributing ideas, and I like that you even came to me with this thing, this idea, this task. Thank you, but I'm sorry, not right now.
Right. And if that person really is passionate about that task or that idea, they're going to be persistent with you.
Correct. Because
the same way you're persistent to someone you're selling them, someone externally out of the organization, unfortunately, maybe fortunately, internally, it's the same kind of sales showdown, just a little bit different and with a bit more love.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Love that. Hey, let's get over to personal finance.
Okay.
So growing up in, I don't care where you're from, where you went to university, if you went to university, personal finance is not taught enough, right?
No.
And especially as an entrepreneur, or really any human being who wants to have a great life, they need to know how to purposely manage their finances, especially as a business owner. So are there any kind of personal finance level up moments you've had where you've been like, wow, how did I not learn that? And wow, that's really helped me do X. And specifically, if it's in real estate, of course, saving up for a mortgage, like what are some like big level up things within personal finance? Maybe just one that comes to mind.
I'll give you the one that was a big shock for me because my dad was an immigrant, did very well for himself, but did not spend his money and saved up, which again, it's worked out for him in his generation with his profession. I'm an entrepreneur, it doesn't work the same for me. So while I had to eat shit, which is level up thing number one, because
Gary Vee liked to say, right?
It helps you save your money. Like you will never make yourself into wealth. You cannot make enough money. Look at pro athletes who have gone broke. You cannot make enough money to be wealthy. You can only invest money to make money. Cash in your bank account is therefore trash. And so I used to always think like my savings account was so important, and now when I look at money in my bank account, I go, what the hell is it doing there? So first you got to get money to put somewhere. Right. Once you start saving, you need to get your money in the market, whether that be in real estate. Get in the market. You can have all these thoughts of like, is it a good time to buy? If you have money to buy something, buy it.
Right.
And if you don't have money to buy real estate right now, then you need to put it somewhere else that it can start to multiply. And at the very least, GICs and like savings bonds and treasury bills and like little things. But then the best trick I got from Ray Dalio when I listened to him talk was if you had less than $50,000, because this is what most young people have, and most people, period, in the world. You think about how paycheck to paycheck most people are in the world, even people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. If you have less than $50,000, the best bet is to put all of it into the S&P index. You buy an ETF for the S&P index. It on average returns 8% year over year. 8% year over year.
Which I heard has actually outperformed real estate to some degree the last decade.
And so you put it there, and then you start accumulating. You just keep putting all your savings in there. And then once you have enough to buy your first property, buy it.
Boom.
Real estate is the best way to make money. It's the best. Anyone who I've met who is extremely wealthy owns real estate. And I'm excited about the new vehicles for people in the future to start getting into real estate sooner. Now, yes, you can put your money into a REIT, but I think there's now fractionalized ownership through blockchain, and there's now these new vehicles where you can invest in a physical thing that I own a percentage of, and when people are paying their rent, whether residential or commercial, I can get a piece of a proper percentage of that distribution.
Yeah.
So save your cash and then just get in the market. Get cash out of your bank account because it's trash.
I love it. Being mindful of time. You've got an investor call soon.
Yes,
Maybe of Ray
I do.
Dalio, I'm not sure. But
I
just
do.
to finish off, I guess for the questions for today, for professional service entrepreneurs, and this could of course extend beyond that. What do you think they're doing wrong in the way they sell or build relationships? What should they be doing more of, and maybe what should they be doing less of?
Less asking, less selling, more giving, more value-added follow-up, more VAFU, as now everyone's saying.
VAFU.
VAFU, get some VAFU. Because every person needs your service. It's just a matter of when and with who. For all industries, real estate, mortgage, accounting, financial planning, personal training, dog walking, most people will need your service at some point in their life. Figure out that frequency. And then you now just need to do the math. So it's like, I need to talk to this many people to find this many people who need my service this year.
Right.
And I will close this many people. And so then once I figure that math out, I just need to have high quality conversations with people where I get to find out if and when they might need my service over and over and over again, which if I'm going to ask that magical question of, hey, have you had any thoughts of getting a mortgage? Have you had any thoughts of buying or selling? So that question doesn't sound salesy and cheesy. I need to have a pre-established relationship with you that comes from me giving value to you first. So I think people need to get back to the one-on-one. That's why interviews like this are so great, because it's a chance for us to connect even further. So if you're a local professional, you should be interviewing people because it's a chance for you to give value to them, as you are giving value to me, to get my name and brand out there more. But it's also a chance for us to connect, and then now we're more likely to do business in the future.
Yeah.
And every professional can use interviews and use coffee dates and use one-on-one conversations where you're just trying to add value and get to know the person. There's so many ways you can think of, because at some point they will become aware they need your service. And who are they thinking of? The majority of business for a local professional, whatever service you have, comes from, I already know you, like you, trust you, and I think of you when I need someone in your service. Or I ask my friends and they think of you and then refer you to me when I need your service and ask them. That's the majority of the business. It's the most profitable business. It's the best business. It's the easiest business. And so in order to do that, you've got to get in front of people before they need you. And so many people are trying to advertise to people after the need is established. You're never, it's less profitable and it's harder. So you might as well get in front of people before they need you, and you will have a bigger, it might be a little bit slower, maybe
Which
not
I know
though.
people are usually very, they have got very little patience for. They want sales now kind of thing, and then bank accounts depleting pretty quickly. And
and that's why I'm
What's the
bullish
balance?
on the interview process. Interview-based prospecting is something I stumbled up upon many years ago, and now
I remember when you brought that up when you first.
now this is what I'm
getting onto
known
that.
for,
It's a huge thing you do.
because you can book interviews because you're helping someone promote themselves, and you
You're
can book,
elevating them, which a lot of people don't
and
have
you
that
can-
confidence.
You can fill your calendar up with interviews, which is step one of any prospect meeting, which is, I'm getting to know you.
It's true, you're doing that anyways.
And you're getting to know me. And so just like if your friend was ever to use your service, when you sit down to actually talk about doing business, you don't sit down and get to know each other, you already do know each other. So if you want to jack your business up, you need new people at the top of the funnel. The interview is going to get more people at the top of the funnel who now also know you, like you, trust you, and vice versa, so that when they have a need, it's actually a much quicker even process to close the deal.
Makes complete sense. Last parting thoughts on ways people can level up their living, something you maybe didn't quite touch on in today's Power interview. What's some lasting thoughts for people to think about for the new year and ways they can level up?
I think everything starts with a decision, backed up with commitment. I think we evolve so much as human beings that the reason why we're not leveling up is because we're not taking the time to reevaluate what we want, to make a decision about what we want to go after, and to make a do or die commitment.
Do or die.
to go get it.
Right.
You know, there's lots of little tactical things, strategic things.
Right.
But I think the thing that stops people from leveling up the speed at which they want and the size at which they want is because they really haven't made that do or die commitment.
Right.
And the decision.
Well said. Good parting words, Grant.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
so much for jumping on
Thanks.
today.
Thanks for
And,
interviewing me. I appreciate it.
You bet. And we look forward to following your journey on parkbench.com. I'll leave all the notes, obviously, in the show notes, and to leveling up.
Cool, man.
Okay. Thanks
Take care.
again. Cheers.